Okay, let's talk about bedtime. If that word alone makes you want to brace for a nightly battle, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to shed a little light on one of the most common and honestly most frustrating parts of childhood, that fear of the dark. It is so tough for our kids, but let's be real, it's tough on us parents too. So let's get into it. So, does this question feel familiar? You know the drill, the endless requests for water, the sudden, urgent need to tell you a story, and then the tears the second the lights click off. It is absolutely exhausting, and it can make you feel like you're totally out of ideas. But before we go any further, I need you to hear this. You are so not alone in this. Seriously, not even close. Research shows a massive 73%, that's almost 3 out of every 4 kids, between 4 and 12 years old, deal with nighttime fears. So this isn't a sign you're doing something wrong and it's not a problem with your child. It is a completely normal, almost universal part of growing up. To really tackle this, we've gotta understand it first. So why? Where does this fear actually come from? Well, it's a lot more complex than just not being able to see. It's all about what's going on inside their amazing and rapidly changing little brains. Just think about it, right? Around age 3 or 4, a child's imagination just explodes. It's the age of epic make believe, imaginary friends, wild stories. Their mind becomes this incredible creative engine. But the catch is that little switch in our brains that helps us adults tell the difference between what's real and what's make believe, well, it's just not fully installed yet. And this right here shows that gap perfectly. See, the darkness doesn't actually create monsters. It just creates a big blank canvas, and their imagination gets to work filling it in. So that jacket you tossed on the chair? It's a monster. The normal creaks of the house settling at night? Oh, that's definitely an intruder. Their brilliant imagination, which we love so much during the day, kind of starts working against them when the lights go out. Now, for most kids, this is just a phase they'll grow out of. But sometimes when that fear becomes really intense, really persistent, and it starts to seriously mess with sleep and daily life, it can actually be classified as a phobia called nyctophobia. The real difference here is just the level of distress it causes for everyone. Okay, so we get the why now. Let's get to the good stuff, the part you're probably waiting for. What can we actually do about it? And the great news is this has been studied a lot, and psychologists have found some incredibly effective science-backed tools to help. The absolute gold standard for treating childhood anxiety, including fear of the dark, is something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. To put it simply, CBT is all about giving kids the tools to challenge their own scary thoughts and, step by step, change their fearful behaviors. It is practical, it is empowering, and believe me, it really works. This simple phrase captures the heart of a key CBT idea. You're doing 2 incredibly important things here. First, you're validating the feeling. You're saying, your fear is real, I see it. Dismissing it with, don't be silly, just makes them feel ashamed. But then, right after, you reinforce reality. You state a simple, solid fact. You are safe. You become their anchor of safety in that emotional storm. Now, a huge piece of CBT is a technique called graduated exposure. I know, that sounds a little scary, right? But it's actually a very gentle, very controlled process. The goal is not to just toss your kid into a dark room and say, deal with it. No way. It's the total opposite. It's about taking tiny, successful steps towards being okay in the dark. And a fantastic way to think about this is the bravery ladder. You start on the very first rung, whatever feels doable right now. Maybe that's a bright nightlight with the door wide open. You stay there for a few nights until it's no big deal. Then you celebrate that win, and you move up just one tiny step on the ladder, maybe a slightly dimmer light. Each little victory builds real confidence and proves to their brain that the dark isn't actually dangerous. All right, that was the science. Now let's turn all of that into a game plan you can literally start using tonight. These are the practical do's and don'ts that can truly make all the difference. This slide is so important. Let's look at the don'ts for a minute. Things like monster spray or doing a big monster check under the bed seem helpful, but what they accidentally tell your child is, yeah, monsters are real, but don't worry, there aren't any tonight. It actually feeds the fear. Instead, focus on the do's, praise every single tiny act of bravery, and remember, your calm is contagious. When you're not worried, it helps them feel less worried too. And here are a few more things for your toolkit.
A super predictable routine is like a safety signal for a child's brain. A bedtime buddy, like a favorite stuffed animal, gives them a little bit of control. And I love this one. Practice calming exercises like brave breathing during the day when they're not anxious. That way, they already have the skill ready to go when they really need it at night.
So, we've talked about the psychology, the science, and the stuff you can do at home. But, we live in a modern world, and there are some pretty cool new tools that bring all these proven ideas together in a way that really clicks for kids today.
And this is where some of these modern digital tools can be a game changer. For instance, apps like Fear Me Not are designed to take the exact principles we've been talking about, like that Bravery ladder, and turn them into fun, gamified challenges. It lets kids feel like they're the hero of their own story, conquering their fears, all while using techniques that we know actually work. And in the end, it really all comes down to this. You can have every tool and trick in the book, but the single most powerful one is your belief in your child. They look to you to figure out if the world is a scary place. So when you project this calm confidence that they are safe and that they absolutely have what it takes to handle this, you're giving them the greatest gift you can, the belief in themselves.